Oh,
Hello.
the problem is that I was going to enter, but now I just think it's you because
Now your sound is really weird too.
Your sound is weird, Patrick.
in what way? Like
Oh,
it?
now it's normal again.
I don't know. It's just being weird. It's just being weird. I
Right,
don't
all
like
kinds
it.
of
The thing
technical
is, it was
difficulties.
fine, and then as soon as we went live, everything started going like stuff started just dropping
know.
and being weird. But we're
All
here
right.
Going to update to this as well. Who knows?
Well, I blame everybody else.
now. Yeah.
This
Which
section
people group
was
specifically, Patrick?
podcasters. This section was a turn.
Yeah, that was my first note.
That was your
Wanna just
first
jump
note
right
for
into it?
yourself, or that was your
No, like for
first
to
note
talk
for mine?
about. Yeah.
I would give it just a second to see if I don't see
Yeah.
who's here right now.
Yeah.
Let's-
I think it's just us.
Hey, sound off if you're in the chat, because we don't want to start conversation without you. But yeah, what had happened in this?
What had
is
happened?
Crazy. What had happened was
No,
changed things
that's
up big
awful,
times.
and I hate that. Well, it's the similar thing of, are you reading like some type of separate vignette, or is it actually story? And there was a bit more of like getting bearings, and
I remember when I first read this book, I kind of like went back and I was like, did I miss something? Like, like reread a few pages trying to figure out like what I like. Obviously, like they just kind of made a little bit of a time jump, but it's
Yeah.
just like it was pretty jarring, I think.
I could have been convinced it was a different book.
Yeah, all of a sudden it's like a war adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like on the front of the book, it's the Adventures of Kavalier and Clay and other tales, right? Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
like Amazon just snuck another book in the middle of mine.
Yeah.
I read The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and other tales of terror a couple weeks ago for Whiskey and Wise. And the book, the story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is actually relatively short, and it ended, and then the next chapter, the next book started, but I didn't realize it. And it's just like, who are these characters that they've introduced now? So it genuinely felt a little bit like, oh, this is a different way.
Was it kind of
telling
sorry,
the
I
story.
missed what book you said you were reading. It was like a short, like an anthology kind of thing, or
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the strange case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and other. It was like a compendium and other tales
okay,
of
cool.
terror. They had like 2 or 3 other stories attached to it.
That's cool.
And it's cool, except that the way that there's not really a definitive end to Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. If you've ever read it, it's just kind of stops, which is
Yeah, I read it a long
a
time
critique.
ago.
It's a critique that I have, is that the end is weak.
Very abrupt.
But
Endings are hard.
yeah. So anyway, it felt like that.
Well,
Is
cool.
my whole point.
Yeah, I think. Are we good to just start
Let's
chatting?
let's
Yeah,
just
Should we
let's
wait?
jump
go
in.
for
Let's
it.
jump in.
Let's go for it.
All right, yeah. So I guess first impression of Section 5, Radio Man, was a little threw you guys off a bit, I guess.
And it
like
wasn't
surprise Antarctica.
Yeah, and it wasn't like bad by any means, but
Yeah.
so it's I have recently read.
Ray had I've recently
Ray.
read.
I recently read the Slaughterhouse 5, and
great book.
there
Yeah.
was like
Yeah.
part of this like threw me back into that book.
I can so see that. Yes.
It was like very evocative, and like pulling out of those. It feels like it could have been just cut from that.
Mm-hmm.
We're glazing past something. Is Slaughterhouse 5 a horror book, or is it just a weird
No.
title
No.
for a?
No, it's a very interesting book about.
It's mostly sci-fi, I would say.
Well,
I don't know. It's like a very weird kind of sci-fi too. Like I don't know.
The book plays in such a way that reality is mixing with something that may or may not be reality, and you don't know if it's what everyone else is experiencing or only what the main like protagonist is experiencing. And the book just leaves you there. and it's also telling the story while talking about someone's experience being a prisoner of war. So it's them being a prisoner of war,
Okay.
but
And
then
it's like,
also
is this PTSD? Is he actually seeing something? Is it something else? Like it kind of, it's a great book. It leaves you to kind of draw your own conclusions, though.
yeah, I really recommend it. I enjoyed it. Apparently, a lot of people, it was like a high school reading. I did not know about the book,
I
but
read it in high school, but not like for a class.
yeah. But it's a really good book. But again, like the book ends and you are like, I don't actually know what was happening, but I think that's a bit of the point of it. But
Mm-hmm.
but anyway, because of the prisoner of war part of it, how that is all being described, it felt very much like this section of the book. So yeah, I mean the book felt like a hard right turn.
Yeah, for this
The,
little adventure in Antarctica.
yeah, but also
Which
it's
also seems like the shittiest position to have acquired. Like, when you want to go fight, like to just get stuck in Antarctica. Like,
but then also like questioning, do you really want to go and fight? Like it's
yeah,
this,
yeah, because, yeah.
what a whimper of a section for kind of everyone involved.
I actually really like this section, but I think, like, I think
Oh,
it's
I
just like,
enjoy it. I
yeah, yeah.
enjoy it, but it is not. I don't think it's what. It definitely isn't what I expected. If you had told me when we started this book, or if you told me a couple
Mm-hmm.
chapters in that we were going to get like his wartime experience,
Mm-hmm.
this is not where my brain would have gone.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the first time I read this like completely threw me off so much that I like went back to make sure that I didn't like miss something of like why they were there, because I was like, what? They
Yeah.
do explain it. It's just very quick, where it's like, well, he joined the army and this is what happened. Like this is
And
like
you don't
the
get a choice with
culmination.
where you go. They send you where
Yeah, exactly.
they want you. Yeah.
Also, I found it like pretty interesting. Like, I didn't really know there was like a base like this like involved in World War II, but like this is absolutely like a real thing. Like, that they had bases in Antarctica, and like so did Germans, and like it was like so they could like monitor boats and stuff. Like, it's very fascinating. It was something like I really knew nothing about.
We still have bases in the Arctic Circle. We have, I don't know if it's still called this, but McMurdo is the base. I actually wanted to apply to work there because they have civilian positions there as well. But you have to take like a psych test to work there.
Yeah, I would
Because
not
like
want to do this.
when the
not passing
plane when the plane drops you off, depending on what time of year you're going,
You're stuck there.
the plane cannot come back for like 6 months. You're just
Yeah.
there, and they have to make sure you won't snap during that 6 months that you're stuck there with other people.
And you're
You're
stuck
making it 6
inside. Like,
days.
you can't really go outside and get some fresh air or take a
No.
break from these people. Like, you are really stuck in this like little
The outside
tiny
will
space.
kill you.
Yeah.
That you can find YouTube videos of like people taking you on tours of McMurdo, and I think it's fascinating. I totally want to go. I'm sure if I went, I would regret it in the span of a week.
I wouldn't want to spend 6 months there. Like, 1 month we can discuss, like
19-year-old Patrick thought it sounded awesome.
True Detective, the newest season of True Detective is that.
Yeah,
Right?
that's a great point.
And-
Yeah. Mhm.
And also The Thing is another
Yeah,
example.
Oh,
it
yeah.
was. That was such an interesting season.
Yeah.
Andrew, what were your thoughts about the section?
It was. I think I expected it to be different, right? Because of the where things ended, I knew there was going to be a pivot point. Did I love the way it pivoted? No. I want to know more about what's happening with Sam. This felt like it was a lot of. I mean, it was all about Joe. This entire section was about Joe.
It's actually
And so-
just Joe. Like, he's even by himself, like, most of the time.
And so from that perspective, I didn't love that. I want more of an update on and I was disappointed in Joe. In last conversation, what I was hoping would happen, which was him realize that he made a dick move in just bouncing, and that he would have rectified that. He didn't, and that's annoying to me. So
I think
and this
Joe
is how many
like
years
a
later?
very stubborn character. Yeah.
How many years?
I think
have passed?
I think I'm putting together that each one is about a
2 or
year.
Okay. Oh,
Or
I
no.
thought that it was multiple years.
I think that's wrong, actually, now that I'm thinking about this. I think the first few sections were about a year each, and then like now this one was like I think there's at least like 2 year, like a time jump, and then like a
That's
year
what
in Antarctica.
that's what I
maybe.
thought.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
and
you're right.
that's-
Sorry.
That's like we just lost 2 years of story and the thing
yeah,
that I
yeah.
actually care about. Like I didn't care about this. I felt like this was. I felt like
I think
this wasn't on the path that I had chosen for Joe. And
Yeah.
so
I
it felt
felt like
like
this
a
was a
2-year
big, like,
deviation from like what I wanted in this story, and so that to that degree it was annoying to me.
I think it's a big like lesson or like character building moment for Joe in the story to like realize that like I think like this is the harshest way you could possibly learn that what you did was like the wrong thing, you know, like and that like you shouldn't be so stubborn and like all this other stuff. But yeah, like obviously this is like Joe learning a lot of really big lessons about himself and like his kind of politics, I think, and things like that. Like
Well, I think it's
very-
also really easy to want to throw a punch on the street near where you live and you can
Yeah,
go
like when
back
you're
to your
kinda safe,
friends
yeah.
and all that stuff. This is a whole different type of throw a punch. Just to be clear, real quick, was the guy skinning dogs to patch the plane?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like to
Okay.
cover it with like
Okay,
some
okay.
kind of like protective.
For some reason, I
skin,
thought he
yeah.
had access to like a seal or an otter, but they just described it, I think, as being like a seal-like covering, but it's dogs.
I think at first he thought it was seals and then like got closer and realized that he used the dead dogs.
Okay. Okay.
I thought that was going to turn a little bit, and it was going to be that he was just eating the dogs, which he may have been doing that too. But-
No, because all the dogs died. Like
no, I
from
know,
the
I know the
poison.
dogs died,
Yeah.
but I thought that
I did think
Because
he was
it-
eating 100%
which,
eating.
it made
shout
the-
out to
it made the-
Oyster. What a cute name for a dog. I love that.
it made the
Great flying
reference,
companion.
It made the reference to Joe walked past the bones of the dogs but didn't realize it, or walked past the
Yeah.
empty cages of the dogs and didn't realize something.
Mhm.
And that's what made me think like, oh, bro's eating these dogs and he just isn't telling Joe about it.
I think
was my
that's
read,
totally
but-
possible because that like Schadenhouse or whatever, he seems kind of crazy. Like he does
and also
not
he's
seem like he
pragmatic.
would pass this psych evaluation you just mentioned, Patrick.
See, I took it as pragmatic of this
Yeah, I
idea of
thought it
like
was
we're
pragmatic.
stuck here. We only have so many resources.
I don't want
These
to
are
eat
resources.
You. You don't want
Yeah.
me eating you. So
I mean, like maybe he was eating the dogs. It seemed like they had plenty of supplies, so like he didn't need to eat the dogs. That would have been an interesting choice, I guess. If you're not very attached to dogs, which he really seemed to not be in any way whatsoever, like, like I guess you don't care. Or you want something
Yeah.
different. I have no idea. But it's also like, well, okay. I'm like, I guess they're in like basically a freezer, so they're not. The meat's
Yeah.
not gonna go bad. Like,
No.
Yeah.
if you really.
Yeah.
I have no idea if he ate the dogs or not. I don't need to know if he ate
makes
the
me
dogs.
think about in
Yeah.
Project
Oyster
Hail Mary,
crackers.
where he
Yeah.
has me burgers. Where he's
Yeah.
eating
I
Eating
just
his own
heard about
protein.
that. Yes, I just literally 10 minutes before that we got online, I was listening to a podcast comparing the book of Project Hail Mary with the movie and heard about that. That's the craziest thing.
You got to read the book. The book is great. Okay.
But yeah, back on track, back to this
Yes.
book. But I think it was like an interesting thing was like, because to me, it's like wild that Shannon House wants to spend so much time by himself, doesn't want anything to do with Joe or like anything, like wants to just work on this plane alone, which to me would be like so much more like worse, you know, like more isolating, more madness driven, you know, like I don't know if you guys felt that way, but it's like very different ways of coping with the situation that happened. And like to me, like his is just like wild.
But see, because I thought that he was doing the pragmatic hard work, it kind of felt like he was letting Joe off the hook. It almost felt like a kindness in a weird way.
But Joe kept asking like to help, and he's like, "Get out of here!" and like literally like throwing things at him until he leaves. Like,
Yeah, my
But
dad
that
used to
could
do
be
the same
how he
thing.
keeps. That could be how he
loved me.
keeps his sanity. You know, like
yeah,
Patrick's puzzling over there to keep from ripping his hair out, from being stuck in his house for every day, all day, for every day in existence.
I mean, he can leave.
Thank you.
He's not in Antarctica.
But like,
I
I
just think
think,
it was
everyone has their coping thing, and maybe that's how he keeps his sanity. Is
It's
the
just like
monotony
focusing on
of-
this airplane.
of chores and working on things and keeping his hands busy. And if Joe comes, then two. What
Yeah.
does it mean? Double. Many hands make light work. Maybe he didn't want light work because light work might
Yeah, I do.
have meant that he finished sooner, and then what? Then you're just sitting.
Then you literally have
waiting
nothing to do.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like, like some people are really protective of like their car or whatever. Like it kind of felt like one of those kind of guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. A
For
car
his
broke.
dog plane.
Yeah, his dog plane. I do think it was like just interesting that like Shannon House's reaction to what happened was like complete isolation. Like, I'm just going to work on this plane. But Joe's reaction is like the opposite, where he like is, like constantly on the radio trying to seek out connection with other people as much as he can,
Is he trying to seek out connection with people, or is he just trying to stay in the know? Because he wasn't talking to people, right? It was a
Yeah,
one-way.
I mean, but I think
I'm
like that's
asking.
kind of
I
his
don't remem-
only. To me, it's like that's his only way to get any outside. I think that's part of it. Like, you want to know what's happening outside. You want to hear these news reports and like get information. But I do think, to me, like part of it was probably like, I want connection again.
He just came across as a
But maybe
voyeur
this says
to
a
me.
lot about me. What'd you say?
He just came across as a voyeur to me. Just someone that wanted to peek into what other people were doing, but didn't want to be part of it.
But I feel like the radio signals he was getting were either like broadcasts where you wouldn't be able to respond, or it was like the Germans where he was spying on them.
But genuinely, but he had a job to report the things he was picking up and chose not to. So he literally is
actively chose
going
not
the
to.
route of, I'm just being this like hidden observer. I don't think that necessarily ties into how he is normally. He wouldn't be fighting unless he took a very proactive step and put himself into the position. But it's odd that in this moment, even when he literally could be talking to his people, right? Like, he could be radioing what's happening to the people that he is accountable to, and chooses not to. So I don't think it's connection. I think it's something else. And maybe it's just this reality that I've been talking about punching all these people in the face. I've been drawing punching all these people in the face. Now I actually have one, and I just want to watch him for a while and find out, is this the type of person I think it really is? Maybe it's a curiosity.
Yeah. I have a hard time, like, I guess, like, knowing why he really sat on that for so long. Like, because he does eventually tell, like, his superiors, like, that he found the base and, like, that they're going to go after the guy or whatever. But, like, you're right, he does keep it to himself for quite a long time. But I think he was also trying to figure out where they were. But maybe it was because,
does he do that on his own volition, or does he do that because they have decided to go, and he's like, well, because we've decided to go, I kind of, like, his hand was forced. Like, I kind of got the impression that he did it as kind of the last possible moment, and I didn't get the idea that he was like, okay, this is the right thing to do. I'm gonna do this thing. It was like, oh no, I have to do this.
I mean, obviously, I think this chapter shows that he's a very kind of selfish person. But, maybe it was kind of like, I'm kind of just putting this together now as we're talking about it. But, like, Shannon House gets obsessed with the plane, but Joe gets obsessed with, like, wanting to go to this base and, kill this other person. Like, maybe that's, like, his, thing that, like, he's, like, trying to protect it so no one else can do it. Just like you guys were saying he wanted with the plane.
Yeah.
So
if he reports it, if he reports it,
they might tell him not to go.
We'll take care of it. You guys stay on the radios, which is honestly probably what should have happened. that's the likely rational outcome of that.
But we've already seen that he's kind of suicidal, and that, like, he doesn't make very, like, rational decisions and makes really selfish decisions. So I think that kind of was like this all coming to a head in a very negative way.
Joe's the worst. Am I right, everybody?
Yeah.
Look,
he's a fun character, but he has a lot of flaws. That's okay. You're like, nobody's perfect.
I only like did you say Po Buddy's Nerfic?
Po Buddy's Nerfic. I don't really have, like, a full, like, thought put together on this, but I just think it was also, like, really interesting that, like, this kind of kicks off with, like, the stove leaking and then kind of creating an accidental gas chamber in Antarctica, when, like, you think you're as far away from all this stuff as you could possibly be, but it still found a way in. Like, I don't really, like, I don't know exactly what the full like meaning of that event is or whatever, but like I was thinking about that a lot like afterwards, and I was like, it's like just really kind of a crazy coincidence, you know?
I didn't. I obviously I we read that. I didn't consider it. The language you just used frames it differently for me. Calling it a gas chamber definitely frames it differently.
I am kind
for
of
me.
stretching it, but that is what like I think
No,
that
no, no.
that's
I don't think you're
intentional.
stretching it. I'm just
Yeah.
that language, given the context of the rest of this book, it just sets up a different framing because I just didn't consider it from that perspective at all.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean I would be shocked if that wasn't a clear metaphor. But I just missed it in the
And it kind of kills everyone except the Jewish person, which is like another weird, you know, like irony or whatever of this situation. Like just very, very like sad and strange. Like to make this like extremely isolating experience even more isolating and terrible is like everyone, you know, dies by this like crazy accident.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm not gonna keep making parallels to Project Hail Mary after this, but here's what I'm gonna say.
I did just see
Rocky,
the movie, so I get it. Yeah.
With Rocky, with his entire crew, and the only reason that he survived radiation was he was astrophage, right? Like it's that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
From the gas leak, he is the only one who survived. There's just a
But I think
there's a poetic, like a bitter poetry to that idea.
Yeah.
I think just contrast this with I'm terrible with family relations, so I don't know if it's like nephew or what you would say, but he's trying to save this family member.
Yeah.
This family member that doesn't want any part of this. He's paying passage to get him on a boat, and then the boat gets pulled into the war. The boat gets attacked. The flip side is
You're talking about Thomas, his brother too. He's
Yeah.
his brother, whoever it was. I knew it was a family member, and I couldn't remember which one. But I'm saying it's this like brother doesn't want to be involved. Brother is like actively leaving, still gets caught in it. And then you have the flip side where Joe does go to get involved, tries to like join the war itself, but then doesn't get attacked and ends up people around him die just due to an accident. Whereas his brother didn't die due to an accident, and his brother was trying not to be. So it feels
and
like
he was like innocent. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it just feels like this complete contrast of situation.
Yeah, I think that leads in perfectly to the first questions, and maybe we can circle back to a couple other points afterwards. But I feel like I should just get into this stuff now. Which the first question was, discuss the irony of Joe escaping his woes in New York only to become trapped in Antarctica. And then how do you think the extreme isolation affects his emotional states after what happened in part 4? This is like literally exactly what you're talking about, basically.
Yeah, all of the same things that I just said. But it is, again, it's just interesting to see that, he has so much bark when he's back home. I say back home. He has so much bark when he's in New York.
Yeah.
And he tries to put himself in this position. And like the irony is that he ends up completely cut off from everyone, but not just cut off from people in New York. I mean, it's him and what's his name, Rothschild. Just kidding, I don't remember his name already. But
Shannon House.
Shannon House. Like it's just the two of them, and he doesn't want to deal with him either. So he's literally like in trying to put himself in the conflict. He's about as far as removed as you can be. Even to the point that when people die, it isn't actually due to conflict. But I also don't necessarily get the sense that he's upset about that. Like the as the chapter goes on, I don't think he's sitting there pissed off that he's not on the front line. I almost kind of feel like maybe
mention of that, but it did feel like he was more chill with it than you'd expect.
Well, because he's a bit reluctant. He's got one. He managed to get the one enemy combatant that isn't a combatant. He managed to find like the one guy that he's the guy that like got conscripted and doesn't
He
want
like
to be
wasn't even
there.
supposed to be here today.
People are playing soccer and he's trying to
Yeah.
catch butterflies. Like he's that guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And it still took him so long, I think, to work up the courage to do that. I don't think it was a matter of opportunity or anything else. So for someone that had a lot of bark, I kind of think the situation played in his favor. And I almost wonder if that ate at him, that maybe he was lucky to be in the situation he was in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Thought.
I felt like I was glad that this happened to him this way because I was mad at him for not making the right decision. Like I felt like this was his comeuppance for
Like his karma, yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah,
don't know.
I also
Like,
think it's kind of like escape is such a big theme. You know, like he literally runs away and then is trapped in the most isolated position you like, an inescapable box. You know, like he can't leave or he'll die.
yeah,
He can't
and this is a situation where like I find myself like kind of assessing my own life decisions in juxtaposition to this, but like how shitty that he went to all this trouble to escape a prison to get to freedom and live an abundant life with freedom, with choice, with love, with friends, with relationships, with,
happiness,
with all these things. And then to only choose to go back to a different kind of prison. It's like, I don't know, like I have done that probably 1,000 times in my life. And we probably have all done that to some degree. We've made decisions that don't make sense to outside observers. But like, to me, this felt like, yeah, you get what you get with this because you weren't content with the life that you had. You had
You know,
to,
I
you just had to keep pushing.
I hadn't considered that before you said it, but he did, in making this decision, jeopardize everything his family did for him. Not just family, but his his community did for him.
Really good point. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Like it just feels like it's
pretty
right
like
in their
disrespectful
face.
to like all the like what they went through to get him safe. You know, like it's. Yeah, like I said, he's kind of a selfish person.
We watch shows like Survivor. We watch The Traitor. I'm currently watching that stand-up show with Kevin Hart on Netflix. Like I think it's just called Stand Up or something. Next, I don't know, whatever it is. But for those of us who watch reality TV shows, we get pissed when somebody quits or when somebody shrugs a thing off because there are thousands of other people who are begging to be there. And it feels like a situation like that where it's just, all these people went to all this trouble to make this thing happen for me. And then it's just like, but I'm upset right now, so I'm just going to undo potentially
all this hard work.
That.
Yeah.
And so for me, that's the long answer to the short question of this, but I think he got a little bit what he deserved in this.
I kind of agree.
Yeah.
A little like I said, I think that he learned a lot by the end of this chapter about like himself and like in theory is set up to like be a better person going forward.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we shall see. I don't want to give anything away.
Now it's unfair because you and Patrick know how this thing plays out, and I'm over here
I'm trying to be funny. I was just trying to be funny, but don't worry. Okay, so I'll go to the next question, and we did kind of touch on this a little bit, but we'll like reiterate. But the second question was compare Joe's original desire to fight the Nazis through the escape, which is with his actual war experience. Like, he thinks it's gonna be this like big comic book action movie moment, like running through the trenches and punching people in the face and all this stuff. And it's like the exact opposite. Like,
well, he fell victim to his own propaganda.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great way to put it.
It is. That is a great way. I think the only addendum to that is, and he also ended up trying to save.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, had a change of heart in the last second. Is Andrew frozen for you?
Yeah, he's completely frozen. It is interesting
like he's
because
in Antarctica.
I'm back. Sorry.
It is.
Don't worry.
I'm sorry. So
No
what I
worries.
was saying is he ends. I don't know where I cut off, but he ends up doing the exact opposite, which is he saves the Nazi, or he tries to, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's just such a flip. Yeah, but I love the idea of he fell victim to his own propaganda.
I think
I'd
that's
wear a
like the
shirt that
perfect
says
way
that.
to put it. Like, very beautiful, Patrick.
Yeah.
Thank you. I've been thinking about it for weeks. I also
good.
want to throw out that it doesn't change. You know, it's interesting that the publisher, several steps of the way, were trying to block them with the idea that things were overly violent or shouldn't
Yeah.
specifically depict Nazis that way, or whatever. I do find it interesting that given his opportunity, he did to some degree obviously see this person as a human and not just this pure manifestation of evil. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not that it plays to his publisher's hands, because his
Yeah.
publishers are wrong for other reasons, but it is interesting how kind of rubber hit the road. It wasn't the same thing.
It
The
was not what he thought it was going to be. Yeah.
the part where you realize that he realizes he's a person is how the author describes the blood running out of the guy, and he calls it
Yeah.
something like his, like, the feeling the warmth of his life or something like that running down his back as he was carrying him, in those
Yeah.
moments where he realizes he's halfway back and he realizes that he was carrying a corpse. The language of that is where you realize, oh, this he now sees this as a person, not
Yeah.
just as kind of a soulless enemy or a soulless thing to overcome. Because it was specifically how he.
Oh no, we lost him again.
Yeah, because it was
on a
specifically
roll.
how he described that in that
Yes.
moment.
I,
feel like
I
that's
do
what he was
think,
gonna say.
the description was really poetic. I hope he comes back soon.
He might not.
Yeah. Well, I think I'll use this time to transition into the next question, which is about exactly what we're talking about, because I think this led in really well. So, at the end of the chapter, Joe finally encounters his first Nazi in the real world, and the confrontation has an unexpected twist. Why do you think Joe experiences this change of heart when he sees Klaus Mecklenburg?
Mecklenburg.
Mecklenburg. Sorry, my bad.
Andrew, you back with us?
I'm back with you.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's fine. So she just read.
I just read the next question because it's talking about like what happened when Joe meets this guy and like why does he have this change of heart? Because like up until this point he's been talking a lot of shit, and then he finally gets there and it's a very different experience, I think.
Yeah.
And it is, I think, a very different question of like, oh, I just want to like get in a fight with these guys at the baseball game versus like actually killing someone, you know?
Because I mean, in comics, they're just fodder.
Yeah.
It's just this
Like he's just a soldier. He's gonna fall off the cliff, and like you never see him again or think about it ever again.
It's this faceless force, and you can throw as many of them as you want to at the escapist, or as many of them you want to at any one of these superheroes, and they just deflect them with ease, or put it into them with ease. And this person is, he's been listening to him. He's not faceless. Like he knows things about him, or what this person is doing or interested in, or whatever.
They even made comments like kind of on his personality, like the way he was like kind of like mopey or whatever in his broadcasts or whatever.
Yeah, he's not one of 1,000 drones to be cut down. And I think that's all the stuff that Joe's having to wrestle with. And then certainly their confrontation is all of the kind of if we go back to when he was in the barrel and he was going to do the trick, and that almost ended terribly, and it's kind of this like funny slapstick moment of just comedy of errors. That's kind of what played out again with their confrontation, except for this time it did end in tragedy. And it's just I mean, again, like everything that I think his comics are just increasingly hardening himself to how he views this group. And maybe there is a part of the group that is that just like pure like evil, but there are people on the fringes that aren't. There are people on the fringes that are just wearing the uniform, and I think he was having to face that aspect. So
I think another piece of it too is that like there's this big plane crash, before before he gets to that, and like the other guy dies and he nearly dies, and then like limps his way to this other station, and like like I think it has a new lease on life in a way. Like I just survived this insane moment.
yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Only to then put an end to
Accidentally
someone
killing
else.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. I think there's a good comparison of like the things that happened in the beginning, where it's like it was kind of like just a comedy of errors that ended really badly this time, and like can't always like he's had so many moments where he kind of like cheated death or something worse happening, and like this time it caught up with him.
Yeah, completely. I mean, is that what you took away from this section or from this
Um,
encounter?
No, I think it is more of the like humanizing thing, but I do think the fact that he had just survived the plane crash also affected his state of mind, like of like life is important. I don't want to die anymore. Like because I think up until that point he's been ready to die and like was accepting of that, and this is the first time where he's changed his mind.
Yeah, I also wonder too with someone like this. It's easier for me to think this about like the New York bravado persona, but
Mhm.
I do wonder if even if he has this realization of, hey, this is a humanizing moment, I wonder if that still makes him like a letdown to himself in some way.
Yeah.
Why didn't I rise to the occasion, or why couldn't I be the escapist or be this superhero? Like, does that make me weak? Does that make me not the Superman or whatever?
Mhm. I would hope he takes a better lesson from it, but like I think you're right. Like I think that would kind of mess with your head, especially when you had all these expectations of yourself in this situation of like, I can do this, like I'm fighting all these guys in New York and look what I'm doing. And then like actually gets there and can't go through with it.
Anything to add to that, Andrew?
Sorry, Andrew.
I don't know what prompted that last part of what you said, so I don't have a response to that.
Sure.
I feel like I was in the middle of responding to something else.
Sorry.
4 minutes ago when my computer decided to just stop working.
Yeah, we're
So I
past
just
all
sit-
that at this point.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just sitting
Yeah.
over here hitting my head against my microphone going like, well, I hope this is a good conversation they're having.
I'll be honest,
Yeah,
we got
that's how
through
we go.
question 3, but if you want to throw in any thoughts, this would be a great time for you to
If
throw
you
your
want me to
thoughts.
reread it,
The
I
on-
can real quick.
No, it's
Yeah.
okay. I think the only thing that I would say is at the end of the day, Joe fell victim to being his own propaganda.
Yeah.
There we go.
That was good.
Propagandist. No, I think everything that I needed to say about Joe, I think I've said.
Mhm.
I'm ready to get back to Sammy, and I'm
Yeah.
trusting that the next page of this book that I read is going to be. Meanwhile, Sammy,
Yeah.
I need that. I need that
Yes.
to happen. I don't want to hear
Yeah.
what happens. I don't want to hear what happens to Joe moving
yeah.
forward until I hear what
I know
happened
what
to
yeah.
Sammy for those 2 years. And so I'm trusting
And I think that's very fair because like I also like to me I remembered them feeling like they had equal time when I like in my memory of this book, and it feels very one-sided towards Joe more than I remembered. But speaking of Sammy, what do you
Yeah.
guys make of Joe not reading the letters again?
Like he's not learning. He's not growing.
Yeah.
and I'm frustrated
Yeah.
at the lack of growth. Like
Mm-hmm.
and I shouldn't be. He's fake. I don't know him. He's a fictional character, but
You
I'm
can be
angry at
frustrated
him.
with like this situation. I think that's fine.
I know. And again, it forces me back into the. So I'm a Christian. I believe that Jesus is who he says he is, all that stuff.
Mhm.
It forces me. There's mentality growing up in the like the church where you hear in every message like, well, that's how God sees you, right? Or like, God.
Yeah.
And I'm like, gosh, when I see this stuff, I get frustrated at him for not learning, and then it immediately then puts it back on me, and maybe that's why I'm so mad at him. It's just like, just
Yeah.
be a fun character I can read without forcing me to think about all the ways I'm shitty. And maybe that's the crux of why I'm so mad at Joe. But
No, I think it is
not
frustrating though,
reading the
because like it
letters,
seems
come on, man.
like it seems like a really obvious lesson. Like you missed your chance to like read this thing from your mom, and then like you're cutting yourself off from everyone else. Like it's very like
who
self-destructive.
he still
behavior.
loves. Like he admits that
Yeah.
he still loves her. Like that's so like there's hope there, but I'm just I'm angry at him. I'm angry.
No, I think it's like, yeah, I hated the part where he says that he like partially blames Rosa for like what happened to his brother.
Oh,
Because I'm like,
yeah,
that, I mean, it's
that's
just so
bullshit.
unfair. Like it's so shitty. Like,
Yeah, that was crappy.
yeah, just like I do understand like having that thought go through your head, but like actually holding on to it and like giving weight to it is like really, frankly, ridiculous. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like
What are your thoughts on that, Patrick?
I don't have any thoughts about it.
That's good.
I think I've said my thoughts. It's a small section.
Yes, it's just short. We don't have too much to say.
I don't know that I think it's necessarily deeper than all of this. I don't have an issue with people not growing because I think that feels more true to life than the reality. I think
But I think it's when you read fiction, you're like, can't you be better? Like this is pretend. Like
Yeah, someone had an opportunity. Someone is intentionally making you crappy. That sucks.
even though it is realistic, you just want him to be better.
But all the people I knew from high school still have the same idiot tendencies that they had in high school. So, and I'm almost 40 now.
Some people never change. Yeah.
How many of the people from high school, Patrick, in the town where they went to high school in?
Enough that I run into them when I once a year visit that town. So
That's wild.
That's the hardest thing for me to get over is people who never move on and never experience new things. Like, sure, life happens to people along the way, but you're not having intentional experiences if you don't choose to move out and move on and try things. And that to me is like, it's sad and it's frustrating because I see friends of mine who are similar and they still do the same thing.
I'm right here.
Places. I know. This is an intervention. But yeah, that's where I'm at on it.
Yeah. I mean, I think that really kind of covers most of what I wanted to talk about in this section. It is much shorter, so this episode might just be shorter, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But
great.
I think the next one will probably be longer to make up for it because we get to kind of talk about the book like as a whole now.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one section left.
Yeah, what's the last one?
The next one is our last one.
So that's the thing. I finished this section within 24 hours of our last record.
Yeah.
And so I was sitting here going, I have 2 weeks. Well, I have 13 days. And so I ended up just going through the other section as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're on
we're
on the last section.
Yeah.
I had to read 2 other books before I could read this book for other purposes.
I hear you.
And so it kept me on the hook for it until I think I read this section midweek last week.
Here's what really happened.
I am going to need you to reread it, Patrick, because you're going to have like two additional weeks in between it. It's like a month since you read it. So
here's what really happened. What really happened is I finished Red Rising book 2 and I didn't have a credit to buy book 3. So I said, you know what? I'll finish Kavalier and Clay. Then I still didn't have a credit ready. And so then I still went ahead and bought book 3. And now I'm on chapter 16 of that.
Now you're
so you
poor
could
and
have
cheated.
waited. You could have waited.
Yeah, I could have waited and just been farther in chapter 3. But I needed to go hang out with Darrow and Severo.
You pre-ordered book 8, right? I believe you already pre-ordered book 8.
I think didn't we do that back in like January?
That's what I was trying to remember. I think.
I assume you're changing now to Dungeon Crawler Carl because I don't know the Red Rising. You just said you read book 3, so that seems
Red
like
Rising does have 8. Doesn't it have 8 books?
I have no idea.
7 books? Okay.
6 books.
But no, DCC because that comes out next month or in June or something. So
come.
Gosh.
Weeks.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
That's
so I will finish
to get through.
Yeah, we'll finish this right on time. That's kind of exciting.
Honestly, next book club will be book 8 of Dungeon Crawler Carl.
So catch up, Lauren.
You guys have to find someone
So
else.
Lauren,
It's way too much to do.
you need to go read 7 books.
Yeah.
It's only I looked it up yesterday. only I think a total of just shy of 17,000 pages of the first 7 books.
Yeah.
They look pretty chunky, like at least like about as big as this book, which is
as
like
they go, they get
650-ish.
bigger and they get bigger and bigger. And looked it up, and of the first 7,
it's like Harry Potter, where they just get longer
just
and
shy
longer and longer.
Yeah. But Lord of the Rings is actually relatively short in comparison to some of these other book series, and I think people are, maybe for me anyway, I was afraid to jump into Lord of the Rings because it felt like it was going to be a commitment, but then I realized it's nothing compared to some of these other books that I have committed to and these other series that I've committed to. So anyway,
all three Lord of the Rings are like 1.5 dungeon crawler Carls.
Yeah, I think it's 4,000 pages, just shy of 4,000, or just shy of 5,000 pages, I think, of all all 3 books for Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
I was like,
So
I feel
it's
like
a
mine
third of that series.
are a little less than that, but I'd maybe just have like a different copy.
There are different editions, so
Yeah.
that can span, a little
So
bit.
like I think that like the second one's only like 350 pages.
So speaking of
But yeah.
the next book club option, we did say for people to show up this week with their suggestions, and instead what
We
happened
have
is no one
absolutely
showed up.
crickets. Yeah, that's okay. We'll try again next time with suggestions. Yeah,
chime in between now and then, because I would
yeah.
like
Hit us
for
up on the
to
book club's
end-
Slack channel. Yeah.
I would like for us to end this book club by saying, here's what our next book club choice is going to be, because otherwise, what are we doing with this? What are we doing here?
Yeah, we got 2 weeks, guys, to throw your hat in the ring. Please answer questions next time. It's much more fun when we have that.
Yeah, I'm gonna push hard for people to answer questions so that the final episode we've got some things to read and some people.
Yeah, I think we'll have plenty to talk about though, because it really will. I think it will be fun to talk about the book as a whole once we're all done reading it.
Okay. Well, then I guess
great.
on that note, head on over to bookclub.mof1.network to find the questions that we will post a week from today on the air date of this, and read up on those read up that last section, and we will talk about it in a couple of weeks. But before that happens, we need to say goodbye for this episode, and so we'll do that by me saying, I'm Andrew.
I'm Lauren.
I'm Patrick.
Peace out.
Adios.
Bye. Music.